Hey, what's up everybody, BDF 44 coming at you in another video. Alright, so I didn't wait here as long as I want to, even though my bus probably would cut back on some of the energy I'm about to use carrying this heavy backpack all the way down Lake Richmond all the way home for the next hour, but I'm sick of waiting there. I've been there for like 15 minutes and I'm tired. I could have been halfway down the street by now. So yeah, I'm walking, and plus you know, we got some things to talk about, man. We got some things to talk about. Flower massacre is what they're calling it. 700 people attacked at 4 in the morning in Gaza, I believe it was, while they were trying to get flour that was supposed to be coming to them. 100 people murdered in that situation. I've never thought I would be alive to see something like that, but that is what happened last night. As people were already starving, half to death, more so than half to death. We've heard of children already starving to death. People are starving to death. Israel's doing it to them, and they had their IDF soldiers attack people who were trying to feed themselves after starving them out for months. The cruelty is what gets me. It's not just that they're killing these people, it's the terror that they got to rain on their heads on top of murdering them. There's a lot of ways you could take somebody out, but to try to terrorize them like give them nightmares all the way out, that is a different level of hatred that needs to be responded to. And that's what comes to mind. It's just the worst stuff you ever heard of. These people are far worse than some of the worst ones, man. And the sad thing about it is, people are acting like it's not happening. People are walking around as if this is something that is so far away from what's reality to us that we can just be fine with it as our country co-signs it. You know, I think those who understand this is happening and can do something about it are complicit in letting it take place. And with events like last night, on top of the countless other events of genocide, occurrences and moments that have happened over the last 140 plus days, I really think a lot of people who allow this to happen need to face the punishment that comes with this type of behavior if someone like myself were to engage in it. You know, honestly, I really believe that. You know, it's just, to get too colorful about it can frustrate the mind, you know what I mean? Talk about what people deserve and who should get what. I think a lot of people believe in just putting people in jail for the rest of their lives, that kind of thing. But when you start talking about genocide and the complicit nature of children being terrorized and murdered, I don't think there's a jail cell that can hold a person like that, to be honest with you. I really don't. And so it's just one of those situations where I look at my TV screen and I understand that, you know, a lot of the conversation in my country is about our upcoming elections, and people are mad at Donald Trump because Donald Trump is seeming to get immunity for fixing elections and all that. I'm telling y'all, I've never been less interested in the details of politics in this country in my life. I've never been less interested. I don't really believe in any of this system that we have in place, or the bells and whistles that keep it together, that make it as if the people have power. We don't have power. They're proving to us in this situation that we are ignored. We can't even use our voice to save people. What the hell do we think we can do in our own country as it pertains to voting toward the maneuverability of laws and things of that nature? We don't actually have that power. So for them to give me bells and whistles about rigged elections, you're proving to me in real time that you really rig elections. And you could say one party or another rigs the election, but I'm looking at both parties and complicit with genocide. Then neither one of them are fighting against that. So it's like, if you want me to trust you on one end, you can't prove yourself to be untrustworthy on all ends. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, You want me to unsee what has already been proven to me, and I just can't do that as a free-thinking individual. I'm not going to be able to do that. It's all, like, if you want to tell me Donald Trump is rigging the election, I just tell you that there's a greater power in place that wants me to think that that actually matters. Or that isn't some type of charade to make me think that there's some sway on power that I have with my ability to go up there and put in a vote. Like, you're proving to me my voice doesn't matter. You're proving to me my vote doesn't matter. So to tell me about this charade is just to keep the cap going, is basically the way I see it. Donald Trump's rigging the election? No, 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 no. We're complicit with genocide and pretend it's not happening. Anything that trickles down from there proves that this election that probably is just a charade in and of itself, and so have all the other ones that have ever taken place. So for me, it's like, you want me to believe in Democrat, Republican, or any of that? I don't believe in none of that. I don't think any of that holds any real weight at all. I think we see who controls everything by way of who's being silent and what is being allowed in the world in real time. Israel's in control of these things. We don't have no control over anything. You know what I mean? And who stays in power and who gets put in power. That stuff that's not real. Those are charades. Those are spectacles for us to war about and have conversations about and feel like there's some power to be had in regards to ourselves. We don't have no power. Those are lies. Those are lies within the great cap that is our system. You know what I'm saying? If I come up with this elaborate lie that is huge and has moving parts, and I want the people to believe they have some sway over that elaborate lie, for which they shouldn't know is a lie in theory, then whatever little corruption charades that I have going on within that lie are meant to provide the guise that you actually have power. But the lie is what it is. There's no power to be had. Just the agreements that have been in place for years and the hope for more agreements in the future, and that is bigger than our country. And who's complicit with allowing those agreements to stay in place is who is allowed to have power. So when I look at people who are celebrities getting on here trying to talk about the election and all of that, I think they're either complicit in the bullcrap or completely brainwashed within the cap that is our system. There's no real power there for people. You don't have any power. We have an army and you have workers. That's what enforces power. All of us as workers paying into their nonsense, and the army that protects them and allows them to enforce that nonsense. When those two things collapse and decide they want to do whatever they want to do, then it's just a bunch of politicians hoping to God that army don't turn their guns against them. That's all it is. That's all it's ever going to be. And the propaganda machine is supposed to keep us in line so that we believe we have some power within that grand scheme. There's no power. Just a bunch of individuals agreeing to move things around with armies behind them and agreements in place. That's it. Billionaires and all the trillionaires, all this type of stuff. Black Rocks and all of them. If BlackRock wants to stop this genocide, genocide's over. Why? Because they're going to pull the money out of the places that otherwise need to be pulled from so that they can keep that genocide from happening. And whales are the real power. And if they want this to happen, or if they're in agreement with what happens, or if they happen to be the ones making this happen, then that's what it is. That's it. Ain't deeper than that. But they're only as safe as the people allow them to be. So as long as we believe in the propaganda machine and refuse to risk our lives to stop anything, refuse to come together in millions at a time and rush them, for which they desperately don't want, then they're going to always be able to have us hidden behind the guise of behavior, charades, laws, and the idea of greater life from within your works and within your compliance to the system. That's all it is. So as far as me believing in some political nonsense, nah, man. I've been actually paying attention to what's going on here. Ain't nothing to believe in. They've already proven themselves in what it is they're doing to me. In my mind and what it is I've seen, and I don't need to be confused. I don't need to act like I'm confused about what I'm seeing there. I'm not. Between AMC and the genocide taking place in my lifetime, I've seen all I need to see. I've seen everything I need to see, man. So that's something I have no interest in playing the game about. That matrix, I've already had the wool pulled from over my eyes when it comes to that matrix. I'm not moved by any of this. They showing us how disposable human life is when they shoot a bunch of people who are starving to death as they try to go for aid that has been blocked for the last several weeks. I saw with my own eyes footage of them dropping aid in the ocean miles out from the land. And if people go into the water starving to death, so you know have no energy to be swimming, and God knows what type of weather, God knows what type of, how cold that water could potentially be, they bomb the people and airstrike the people who are swimming toward the aid, and bomb the aid itself in the water. Like these are the type of cruelty that's taking place while y'all live your comfortable lives wherever you are from where I'm at. This is what's happening. This is all over Instagram for you to find. If you follow the right people, it's right there. You know, and that's what I've been trying to help people understand. Like, none of this is really hidden. And why should you care? Because you're paying for it. It's tax dollars that's paying for it. Every time you go to work, every time you file your taxes, they take some of that money and do whatever the hell they want to do with it. You, my good tax-paying friend, and me too, anybody that pays taxes in this country, is complicit to the workings of what it is they pour their money into, whatever that may be. And what it is they're choosing to give, billions and billions of dollars to Israel in weapons and various different things, so that they can kill these kids and starve these people and enact terror upon them all the way to the grave. And so that's what's actually happening. That's what's going on out here. That's what they're hoping you're too distracted to understand or pay attention to. That's what Aaron Bushnell set himself on fire to talk about, to bring awareness to, rather. It's the idea that they would do this. And after he burned himself, they attacked 800 people and killed 100 of them as they were waiting for aid that had been blocked. I gotta stress this enough. You got IDF soldiers and Israeli settlers coming to where aid trucks are early in the morning and staying there all day just for the ability to stop starving people from getting food. That's the only reason why they're doing it. And they believe that this is just because that's how corrupt the propaganda upon their skulls has been their entire lives. Same propaganda tactics that are used to make us believe that it's appropriate to watch football on Sunday. They have propaganda on their head pointed at them, believing that it's okay to terrorize Palestinians. Instead of the NBA and the NFL and pop culture, movie culture, they have genocide culture. And the willingness to hate innocent people for existing. And the belief that they're entitled to their land just because. And the belief that they are victims somehow in all of this. People who are standing on this, willing to die to keep children from receiving aid that will save their lives. A propaganda so sinister in nature that one has to wonder if everybody under it is too far gone to be anything less than terrorists upon this earth. That's what's going on in Israel. And so I say to you guys, I don't believe everybody's caught up in that propaganda, no different than I don't believe everybody watches football on Sunday. But I'm telling you, that's what they're trying to get people to believe. And if you believe in that enough, then you're gonna definitely go along with it. If you're raised in a household where this is the only way we talk, then you're definitely gonna be out there fighting the cause against innocent people and their ability to feed themselves with the aid that's supposed to be coming from all over, wherever it may. And this is why I'm saying what I'm saying to you guys, because it's important we understand that this doesn't end there. As I've said many times, this doesn't end with them wiping out the Palestinians. Then they have to turn their attention to someone else on that bloodthirst, just like any other psychopathic energy. Once it's killed, everybody gotta find new people to kill. You gotta find new people to terrorize. And the fact that our country is complicit with this because of anything at all speaks to just how morally bankrupt and ultimately dangerous this country is to the rest of the world, particularly those who are not aligned with what it is that Zionists want it to be. And so I'm saying to all of y'all, man, don't believe that it's just comfortable living that we're fighting for here. You're fighting for the right for your friends to do whatever it is they choose to do. Whoever you have as allies, you want them to be able to enact genocide if they choose. That's what you're fighting for every day. That's what you're paying into. That's what you're supposed to be turning a blind eye to when you pay attention to all the different things that they put in our propaganda. We don't have propaganda that tells us to kill Palestinians, but we do have propaganda that tells us to ignore homeless people, not think about nothing but ourselves, chase money. If you black, you know, get as much money as you can so you can get that bougie woman whatever she want. Type evil. You know what I'm saying? Teaching our women that they don't have a role in this world other than to be that bougie woman. I mean, that's propaganda. It's anything else. If they tell us to hate everybody, if we buy into it enough and they do it in a convincing enough way, especially if they do it for a prolonged period of time, we're going to be whatever the hell they want us to be. Unless we start thinking for ourselves, which is what we're not taught how to do. Who knows what the propaganda will be tomorrow if this works? What they gonna teach our great-grandkids when we're long in the dirt? That it's okay to hate African people, it's okay to hate Mexican people, and they're gonna, what? Where does this go from here? That's what I'm telling all of y'all, man. What it is that's on my heart to say. Because we're turning a blind eye to a lot of things because we're warped up in propaganda. And if you look over at Israel and their propaganda, they're warped up in this propaganda of killing people and taking from them and terrorizing them and supporting it as if it's a just cause. To say it's evil doesn't give it enough fervor. It doesn't put enough emphasis on what it is they're actually doing. They are erasers. It's human cancer. That's what that is. It's human cancer. And I walk past Starbucks and realize they're complicit. They send money to Israel. You look over at the New York Times, they're hiring people just to provide the propaganda of the 40-headed headless babies and all this other stuff that's supposed to make us look at Israel as if they're good guys. Which would otherwise work if it wasn't for something called Instagram, where people on the ground in Gaza are actually showing us what's happening there. Otherwise, we believe all that Hamas bullcrap, just like we believed all that Al-Qaeda bullcrap. Never again will I believe that people who don't have anything can war with people who do. Never will I believe that. If people don't have anything and they're poor, they can't war with the wealthy. They can't war with the 1%ers. They can't war with people who don't have any threats amongst their peers. How can I, a logical thinking human being, believe that the poor has any shot at terrorizing the wealthy? And then the wealthy shows me that all the power they have when they effectively do what it is that they're doing here in this situation. The controlling powers want us to believe that Hamas is their greatest threat when Hamas is being starved by them. They're killing all of Hamas's children. Control all of the propaganda in regards to Hamas's reputation around the globe. They tell us who they are, and then they proceed to terrorize them right in front of all of us who are paying attention. And I'm supposed to believe they're the terrorists. Why? Because you mentioned it and ignore all of what it is that you're doing in front of me. Ignore everything else. You want me to believe that Hamas has control over the media and news sites. But when I speak against what it is that I'm seeing here, you silence me. So how do they have control over what it is you have control over? How does that work? When people are trying to hold you accountable for the crimes that you're committing in front of all of us, suddenly we see magical ceasefire denials and various different things that just pop up in your favor as you continue to do what we clearly see is terrorist behavior in front of the whole world. In front of anybody who has the ability to follow what I follow. We are all witnesses to endless amounts of crimes. War crimes, crimes against humanity. And you want me to believe that those who don't have anything, who can't even stop you from starving them, are your greatest threat? You want me to believe that they are somehow making all the Jewish people unsafe by their existence of their children? It's like the propaganda don't even make any sense. The people who are telling me to believe this propaganda are obviously insulting my intelligence. And they're committing egregious terrorism across the globe against those people and their children. Terrorizing them in ways that I wouldn't do to people I legitimately can't stand. I would never do what Israel's doing to their enemies to mine. I never would. I don't have that type of desire. I don't have it. It's not even in me. As they paint out a picture of who I am to you, understand that I wouldn't do this to you if I couldn't stand you. I wouldn't toy with your humanitarian aid when you're starving. Make fun of your suffering as I inflicted upon you. That type of hate is unique. And I don't fear it. That's the thing. It's not something to really fear. You will be aware of it, but if they think for 1 second that the world is afraid of them because they're behaving this way, they're wrong about that. I'm not afraid of you. I can only die once. It's like I can only live once. And so with the one life that I have, with the voice that I have, I'm going to speak up to what it is that I see. Speak truth to power in regards to this nonsense. And speak against and condemn those who are allowing it to take place, who are corrupt in nature to the point where they'll allow it to take place and pretend like they don't know what they're seeing just so they can hold their stance in power. The people who are allowing this to happen deserve the worst. The worst. The very worst. No matter how diplomatic or how powerful or how much of an army they have behind them, how many cameras in their face or how many are not, they deserve what comes to murderers because they are murderers. That is the truth. If you served in the IDF, if you're not condemning this behavior like some I've seen, you deserve what it is I'm saying to you. You deserve the worst. Whether you believe that or not, It does not matter. In the grand understanding of what balance is, you are the terrorist of the earth, along with anyone else who would be complicit in what it is that you do, or anyone else that would try to mock or mimic what it is that you do. You're the true evil of the earth, and the world is so much safer if you're not on it. So that's what I want to say to everybody that's doing this, that's allowing this, that's trying to hide this, that's trying to make it seem like this is fine, that's too afraid to speak up. All of y'all. Your fate, if we do things correctly, should be harsh, man. If the world is doing things correctly, it should be very harsh for you. And that's what I have to say. I'm frustrated, but you know, it's one of those situations where when you've seen this for as long as I have, and you've listened to everybody who's had everything they had to say over the last 140 plus days, nothing's surprising anymore. The level of hatred and terror and creative torture that they're trying to inflict upon these people, you know, it's already, they've already shown us that they can go as low as it's possible. So whatever they do next shouldn't surprise anybody. How far they're willing to take this shouldn't surprise anybody. Even if it gets worse from here, it should not surprise anybody, because that is exactly how low these people have proven themselves to be. And that's exactly what they've been allowed to be by those who are supposed to be in positions to hold them accountable for not. It's God's honest truth. So when we look around and we think about what's next, or we look around and we wonder if this could happen here, again, that type of energy, it demands more for its hunger. It demands more. It ain't gonna stop being fed when it's shown that it can do this. And I think what they're trying to prove is that God does not in fact exist. I think that what this evil is really about, what it tries to do, what it really wants to do, is inflict a certain level of hopelessness upon all who believe in God. So that with the power that they have, coupled with the example of what it is they're doing, we will walk away from this never thinking that we have any hope of doing anything but complying to what it is that they do, for as long as they continue to be able to be in power, connected in such a way. That's what I think this terror is about. That's what I think us being able to see it is about. It's about us raising our voice, doing everything we can to stop it, and them showing us that we cannot stop it. That's what they want us to believe. That's what they want every human being across the world to believe. That it is futile holding them accountable for what they do, that you should fall in line with what it is they tell you, that the world will continue to move smoothly on your side of the fence so long as you don't stop them from killing everybody on the other side of it. And in the event that you want to come around and grow some balls to speak against them, they will continue to make you feel as if you're hopeless in accomplishing your goal and stopping them, as they continue to pile on more of the terror upon the heads of those they hate as you watch. That's what I think this is all supposed to be about. Because they're doing this to the most faithful, the most prayerful people in the world. People who every other word is their God. Every other word is about faith. Every other word is about obeying a higher power and not Israel. And they want to be the gods of the earth. They don't want God to exist. They don't want people to have the faith of God, because the faith of God can truly tear them down. It'll give you the ability to transform your mind into something that sees through their propaganda and approaches them collectively, effectively showing just how outnumbered they actually are when free thinkers rule the earth. They're just a bunch of people enacting the evil in their hearts upon those who are complicit to the things that they control. Complicit in the sense of separated and divided for which they can use a lot of that. And so long as we can think and view life that way, separated, they can do whatever they want. But just like I tell you, just like I tell anyone else, God is real. If he wasn't real, then why are they trying so hard to inflict their power in proving he's not? Anything worth doing has some purpose to those who are doing. The consequences of doing it hold purpose to the person enacting that behavior. Anything that they're going to go out of their way to try to prove or disprove must hold some hurt to them for the sake of people otherwise believing in it. If it don't hold no value, it ain't worth ish. But since they are showing us it holds a great deal of value that we believe, we have to know that they know that he exists. They have to know that they know that we know that if we come together in the name of something greater than ourselves, then we can overcome them for which is not greater than our collective selves. While they're trying to push forth these charades about what we have power over and what we don't, we need to understand that us not believing we have any power holds a lot of weight to them. Us believing that they are the gods of the earth holds a lot of weight to them. Us allowing them to do what it is that they do holds a lot of weight to them. Us adhering to their laws and the law and nature in regards to contracts and various different things that they have their evil little hands in, as long as we adhere to those things, they control that for which our limits will be against them. As they continue to show us they have no limits against people. This is why I tell you, rip them damn contracts up. Stop taking the devil's paper. You don't want nothing he has. Because every bit of what you take from him gives him power. Every bit of what he can corrupt against you gives him the ability to keep you silent and complicit in the nature of what it is he controls. If any of that falls apart, or if all of it falls apart, his power does too. And he's just another body just like you. And he needs to run and scurry back into the caves he came from at that point. Because it ain't safe for him. When people start realizing that the power is in their willingness to continue to take from the snake. Don't take from the snake. And everything else falls into place. Because at the end of the day, we will always outnumber the evil. Good will always outnumber evil. It must display loud demonstrations to terrorize the many because they are the few. They must be louder and act like there's no chance and do all these ridiculously wicked demonstrations against people because there's no power in them without that demonstration. Ain't no different than any other animal on the earth. I gotta growl and be all loud. Why? Because they don't have the numbers to give them the strength. They have some numbers, but not if the collective unit of the world comes in and closes in on them. They're just some scared people running with a whole lot of terror behind them and a lot of guilt behind them. That's it. They're going to always want people to be quiet. They're going to always want you to think what they do is fine so long as you don't do it yourself. But that falls apart. When you apply a little logic to it, you realize that doesn't work. Balance is the only thing that really makes sense on this earth. Balance. And so when you try to enact a power structure that doesn't hold balance, eventually it falls apart. And so that's what I'm telling all of y'all. Ignore what we've been taught in regards to Democrat, Republican, all that stuff. Ignore that, man. Because it's proven to not be a real thing. It's proving to not be backed by the people's voice and backed by the people's vote. Because when the people speak up against genocide, they ignore it and do whatever the hell they want to do. And they pretend like the truth is not the truth. They move in this dystopian way as if you're supposed to not believe your eyes. And everybody they control continues to move in lockstep with that lie. While you sit there screaming your head off saying, let's do something about it. You look around and you realize the only power you have is in everybody coming together to make things happen. And so long as you're complicit to the actions that they are engaging in, people suffer. People get terrorized. Children get victimized. And then God knows what else is being done in the dark in the name of their collective agreement to rule the world this way. The fact of the matter is, if they were meant to get away with it, then we wouldn't be seeing it. If they were meant to be God, then there wouldn't be no resistance. If they had the power that they want you to believe they have, then they wouldn't have to enact this ridiculous terrorism upon these people, or have this ridiculous propaganda machine controlling their people. It would never be necessary if they were as strong as they want you to believe they are. They need all these things to fall in place and to continue to be as strong as they believe themselves to be. Otherwise, they don't have that strength. It's not there. That's the point. Why y'all want to believe in your little culture and keep on worshiping these celebrities. These celebrities are in place to be shiny idols. Literally idols. American idols. Your Meg Thee Stallions, all these different individuals, they're idols, fam. They're not there to do nothing but enforce some distraction upon your head and insert the ideas in your mind that are supposed to be there that come from their skulls. That's all it is. Some warped belief that you should stay separate. You should remain divided. That you should be chasing things that they own. That you should be working hard and paying into businesses that they own. That you should be doing things that get you thrown into their prisons. That you should be waving flags that they want you to wave. That continue to separate you from people who would otherwise come together and help the situation against them. They don't want none of that. They want you to believe that your little life is the center of attention, the center of all things. And that what you want is more important than coming together, being one collective body unit, stopping them from doing the evil that they do. That's what they want. They don't want you to use your voice. They want you to listen to the voices they put in front of you that tell you to use people and use what they own and turn a blind eye to every other thing that they do. Not care about nothing but what it is that you do. That's what they're about. And in turn, as they have that power, this is what they're doing with it. They kill whoever they want to kill, terrorize whoever they want to terrorize, and they sit there and mock the situation because they got it all locked up. They mock it, they make fun of it, they make TikToks or whatever it'll be tomorrow about how they could get away with it. Because they are so arrogant in nature that they think that none of this can be undone because they believe that they've done such a fantastic job at keeping all of us at bay. And that is true so long as you continue to be that. So that's what I have to say to everybody, man. Let's turn this thing around. It's going to take some time, but let's turn this around. BDF 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.